Omar's heart pounded. He ran toward the mall exit. The metal gate was down, locked. He was trapped inside the abandoned mall. Omar yanked on the gate. He rattled the bars. It wouldn't budge. Panic surged through him. He spun around. The mall stretched before him, dark and silent. Empty shops lined the walkways, their windows dark and lifeless. Omar was alone, or was he? Every sound sent shivers down Omar's spine. The wind howled outside, whistling through the cracks in the mall's walls. He wandered through the abandoned food court. Empty tables and chairs stood like ghostly diners, frozen in time. A sudden crash echoed through the mall. Omar jumped, his heart racing. He held his breath, listening. Silence. Omar cautiously made his way to the mall's central atrium. He froze. Someone was there. 3 figures huddled in the dim light. They were whispering to each other. Omar's heart leaped with hope. He wasn't alone. "Hello?" Omar called out tentatively. The figures looked up, startled. They stared at him with wide, wary eyes. There was a young woman, a teenage boy, and a little girl clinging to her mother's hand. They were as relieved as Omar to find another person. "How did you get stuck here?" the woman asked, her voice trembling. Omar shook his head. "I don't know. The gate was down. We got here too late," the teenage boy said. "The mall closed early." He pointed to a flickering emergency exit sign. "That's our only hope." Section 5, the escape plan. They tried the emergency exit, but it was bolted shut from the outside. Despair settled over them. They were trapped. "We can't give up," Omar said, trying to sound brave. "There has to be another way out." They searched for hours, but every door and window was locked tight. As night fell, Omar noticed a loose ceiling tile near the former security office. "Maybe we can climb through the ceiling," he suggested. Section 6, racing against time. They worked quickly, adrenaline fueling their movements. Omar carefully removed the ceiling tile, revealing a dark crawl space above. The teenage boy, Kevin, volunteered to go first. He hoisted himself up into the darkness, disappearing into the shadows. One by one, they followed. The space was cramped and dusty. Cobwebs brushed against their faces as they crawled through the darkness. Section 7, a glimmer of daylight. They crawled for what felt like hours. Just when they thought they could go no further, they saw it. A faint glimmer of daylight up ahead. With renewed hope, they surged forward, pushing through the last few feet of the crawl space. They tumbled out onto the roof of the mall, gasping for breath. The fresh night air filled their lungs as they looked around. Below them, the parking lot sprawled before them, deserted and silent. Section 8, freedom at last. They found a fire escape ladder and climbed down, their legs shaky with relief. The ground had never felt so solid beneath their feet. They were free. They had escaped the abandoned mall. As they walked away, they could almost imagine the mall disappearing behind them, swallowed up by the night. The first rays of dawn touched the horizon, painting the sky with streaks of pink and orange. They had survived the night. Section 9, a new dawn. Omar looked at the others. The woman, Sarah, and her daughter Emily smiled wearily. Kevin gave him a tired but grateful nod. They had faced their fears together. They had helped each other survive, and in the darkness of that abandoned mall, they had found something unexpected: friendship. As they walked towards the rising sun, they knew that they would never forget this night. They had been tested, and they had triumphed. They were survivors.